see as it's like no hate speech, which is like, so I'm fine with that. No hate speech. I'm a fairly tolerant dude, more than.
Oh no, man. I think it's wrong to hate anyway, isn't it? It's bad energy, man.
It's been hilarious having to deal with it lately, the left and the right, because I've had more people on the left telling me what I can not say than people on the right, which is hilarious because it's more of a far right idea, telling people what they can and can't say.
But see, I read a good interest in Native American folklore type thing, and it says the left wing and the right wing are part of the same bird. I love that saying. It always stuck with me, that did. Because to be honest, I'm not a big fan of politics or the government or that. I mean, I could break it down like the word government means mind control. Govern means control, and ment comes from mental. And it's if you break down the etymology, the Latin, that's what it means. So that's how I'm not. To be honest, I've never been a big fan of it anyway. I suppose I'm just open-minded like that. I didn't like the form of control that they have over people. I feel like we're not free. I just feel like they could do a lot more for the populace and the people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I noticed. It was the royal wedding this year that just one of the medals that he was wearing could have run 1,000 ambulances for a year.
I know.
It's like, where's that priorities at?
I know. It's like when the Queen gives a speech about poverty and she's wearing
the
the crown
sat on a fucking gold fucking throne.
Just fucking trade that and go pawn that shit and then just feed a nation. Do you know what I mean?
We all need to come together as society. It's like, I'm sorry, I can't listen to you as you're wearing a fucking necklace that weighs more than my computer and costs more than pretty much everything I'll make in my entire life.
Have you ever been to the British Museum?
I went to the Buckingham Palace though.
Oh, did you? I've been to the outside of the Buckingham Palace, but I went to the British Museum, right? And to me, the feeling that I got, I mean, I can't speak for anybody else, I can only speak for myself, but the feeling I got was like, this is our trophy cabinet, look at all the shit we've conquered. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what they've done, really. The British Empire were extremely powerful at one point. Do you know what I mean? Are you recording yet, by the way?
There's always like a bit of a run-in before we jump straight into the episode anyway. But I've always found that's, with the British Empire, certainly leaving the EU, that because I think like, we used to own so much, there's just such a reluctancy to give any of it back, even though it's not as I'm alright with Britain just being just these little islands here,
because we can cope being an independent nation, Britain, or even Wales, Ireland, Scotland and England. We can all we can all survive independently, but like you said, it's like they didn't want to give it back. It's just like it's like greed.
It is, for sure.
But I think, maybe I read too much, or maybe I didn't like this label conspiracy theorist bullshit either, man. It's just a label that these people put on and try and claim you're paranoid and all that. But I mean, when you research into some of the shit that they've done in that, it's just like, nah. I mean, independent. I think every country should be independent unless they want to be. Otherwise, joining forces with other people. I mean, there's no harm in that either, is there? But I think the independence thing is just I mean, it's all this borders and control and this Brexit. What is Brexit? Them leaving the EU, basically.
Yeah, leaving the EU.
See, I think it's maybe a good thing because
there's a million good reasons to leave the EU. There's a million good reasons to stay in. I think if everybody knew what Brexit actually meant, if everyone knew that it was going to be a couple of years of fucking, because it's turning into a shit sandwich more than anything.
I've not been reading into it. I just heard it come up because I don't watch TV, you know. I don't watch news, tabloid. I don't read tabloids. I never have since a very, very young age. I mean, sometimes the TV's on in the background when my girlfriend's watching it, and there's like, but I just try not to pay any attention to it.
It's all the same. I try
it's
not
to. It's propaganda. You know what? To me, a politician is a professional liar to convince the people that we need them. When we don't. Do you know?
When it's all of their system is designed to support support the need of system. Same in America though. Like they've got a million of these laws that.
Laws or legislations.
That are
this is the thing.
entirely designed to prop up the system,
of course,
and
it's part of the New World Order,
and let people know, like, no, you need this, you need these people.
Of course, right.
It's like, do we really need? I've been trying not to put so much importance on who's in power.
Because that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Either way, you're getting raped.
You can't
Do you
live
know what I
you
mean?
can't live your life in 4-year increments of
No.
dictators of who's running the country, because it's fucking ridiculous that, or is it the Tories are in charge of Scotland at the minute? That's fucking ridiculous. I lived in Scotland for several years. For anybody who doesn't know, back when I was 16, studying to be a chef, and the Tories do not need control up there.
Oh no,
it's certainly not their ballpark.
to me,
It's not their people.
No, it's not, because I find it's more like a experimentation ground, like smoking bans and all this shit. They always instate it in Scotland first. Do you know what I mean? And it annoys me.
Yeah,
It's not to say it annoys me, but it's just frustrating. And what annoys me more is the fact that people accept it, because we are all individuals. We should be more open-minded. People, thankfully, are starting to wake up. Slowly but surely. I mean, I'm not saying I'm perfect and all that, and I know everything, but it just for me, it's frustrating. It's just like Scotland just needs to be its own again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It should be. It was originally. Why?
I'm
why not
entirely
anymore?
for Scotland
Independence.
becoming independent again, because I watched recently was Outlaw King, which is about Robert the Bruce.
I've not watched it yet, but I've heard a lot of good stuff
Yeah,
about it.
you know what? It pisses all over Braveheart.
Because Braveheart was historically inaccurate. We'll not even get started
Massively
on that.
historically
I know.
inaccurate.
But see, the thing is, when that got released in Scotland, it's like 80% of the country were all shouting, "Yeah, English bastards
For
and all this,
freedom."
freedom!" And I'm like, he's dumb. It's a bloody Hollywood movie. It's not even accurate.
It's starring an Australian who hates Jews. Like, what is happening? This is not.
But you know what? It just shows you how easily people can be controlled and moved. Well, doesn't it? It's moving your emotions and things like that. I love movies though.
Yeah.
But I mean, they can be dangerous. It's not as dangerous as people, right enough. But I mean, come on, man. Scotland should be independent again. Why not? I'm all for the yes independence vote, and to everybody else out there who is, good on you.
Yeah.
I know.
It's
Time should be changing, man.
it's that English legislation should just not make its way north of Hadrian's Wall.
Basically.
There's I think it was Frankie Boyle that said there's a reason that the Romans invaded Britain, got to Scotland, and went, build a wall.
Bow the fucking wall. These cunts are off their heads, basically. That is a bit of a crazy place, aye. But I mean, it's how many years has it been going on now? I mean, me personally, I find that it's maybe the Queen, not the government, that's more in charge of things like that. And I don't think she's ready to give Scotland back, because we're worth too much money in oil. And
Yeah, you've got
we
oil.
could live off our export on whiskey alone. Never even mind the oil. Do you know what I mean? So all this nonsense about we've not got enough money to be independent and all this crap. We've got enough tourism. We've got enough oil. I mean, I read somewhere, I don't know if it's true or no, but between 1990 and present day, Scotland turned over like 82% more oil than Dubai. Look at Dubai and look at Scotland.
You've
I
got
think we get like 5% of that money.
You've got gas and you've got oil
reserves,
which was I did in doing research. I've been coming across because the Tories have definitely had their way with Scotland more than any other political party. The Tories are most certainly dipping their hands in your haggis more than
Get your
anybody
hands
else.
off our haggis. We're coming for you. Nah.
Especially Cameron.
Oh,
There was the.
I met him as well.
Did you?
I did. I had,
Did you?
I was working on. Remember, I told you before, we're working on the Birmingham Library, the new library they got built. Well, I was brilliant to be a part of that project. One of my favourite jobs ever. Yeah. Obviously, me being a writer, a poet, and working on a library. I mean, it was just like yes. And then anyway, there was the whole thing about when he was in power. Remember before he left, about all these cuts and construction and things like that.
Yeah.
And he was taking a walk around and, do we really need this to spend this much? Because I think the library is something like 200 or 198 million.
Yeah, but if you look at it,
I know it's beautiful,
and
man.
it's brought in so much.
I know, but you know the sad thing is, it's closed most of the time. Why spend all this money, 200 million or 198 million on a project? It should be 24 hours. Knowledge should be free to any time.
Yeah.
especially a library, a beautiful building like that. Keep
It
it
is.
24 hours.
It is
I'm sure there's
beautiful.
somebody who would want to work night shifts.
Yeah.
Some people don't sleep. Some people like to study all through the night. Students
You got-
especially. Come on, students don't sleep.
You
It's
got
survival
Aston
on
Uni,
alcohol.
Birmingham Uni, BCU.
Exactly. It's a main focal point in the city centre as well, and like we said, it's a beautiful building. But anyway, off topic, sorry, we met David Cameron, but then his big, mean, cold, dead-eyed looking security guard was had a walk around to all the people that were going to be meeting David Cameron, like, there'll be no questions about why there's a war in Iraq, and I'm like, bastards, that would have been the first thing, what you did there.
No questions about the cuts, no questions about...
Well, we're told what they say, it was just like, sit there and just let him talk. But one thing I did notice about David Cameron is his body language and his energies was he was very, very quick and very, very sharp at cutting the conversation as soon as you finished asking you questions, so you couldn't direct anything at him. And I thought, you know what, that's a very clever strategy you came in with, you prick.
That's you get taught
to
that.
sit there and bite my tongue. Not that I hate any other man, it's wrong to hate, you know what I mean? But I mean, come on, what did they do for anybody?
Yeah.
What does any political, what do any use do for anybody? You don't do anything for the people. They're only out for themselves, isn't it, really?
I've not voted for the same political party twice since
believe
being
your
able
vote
to
makes a
vote.
difference, though?
I
I personally have never voted in my life, and I never will,
I
because I
think-
think it's all rigged. I know it's all rigged.
I think it's having to. I feel like I have to accept it now. How the system is. There's a really great Mike Tyson quote right before it's the press conference right before they fight, where he stands in front of this other guy, and I can't remember the other guy who was fighting, but he says, Mike Tyson's face to face with him, arms out here, and he goes like, "I'll fuck you so hard, and I'll fuck you till you love me." And I feel like that's what the country has done. It's fucked me until I love it.
Until you love it.
I have
Acceptance.
I've just accepted that. Like, was it the last election? There was Sky News was reporting the results, and in the back when they were tallying the results, you could see people
Changing the votes.
Yeah,
That happened with the
going like
Scottish
that,
Independence.
and
you
yet,
know that.
and yet
The
that
BBC
didn't make the
rigged it.
news, and
I
no
know.
one's talking about it. But it's like I can see it happening.
I know you
They're
can see
telling
it
you
I
to at St Paul's, where I had to vote, St Paul's Church around the corner.
Pencil
I went
or
in with a pen,
aye.
and they gave me a pencil. They were like, "No, you have to use a pencil."
I see, because
I said
change
no.
it. Oh, come on,
I
man.
said
If
pen.
that ain't suspect in itself. Come on,
Yeah.
man.
It makes me distrustful of the entire system, but
No, who was the system
it's not being
built for?
changed.
This is
Yeah.
what you need to ask. Who was it built for? It wasn't built in our needs. Come on, man.
No.
It was built in their needs. That's why this system has been in control for a very, very, very long time, and you know what? These people are not into the game of losing. They'll never lose. They're too smart. They've got everything under their control. They've got everything under their power. Them, you want to call them whatever, Illuminati or whoever, powers that be, cabal, all these different names. To me, it's all the same anyway. It all leads up to one big group of people in it, and they're controlling countries and nations and stuff. But I mean, their whole system is designed to construct and move society in the way that they want. This is why you didn't get any rebellious acts and things like that in this country, because everything's geared through television, media, even music. Because the mind, it's just about controlling the mind. Like it says, government, mind control. That's what government means, basically. When you look into the etymology, it means mind control, and that's exactly what they do. And also, I was looking into something before. I think it was on YouTube. I was watching a documentary, and a guy was giving you an example. Look at how they brainwash people. It's like they're called repeaters. He calls political leader. It might have been David Icke, actually. I forget, but the repeaters, and how he was showing you all snippets of the news in America and here in the UK, how every news channel all says the same thing, but repeatedly.
Fuck
and
yes.
that embeds in the brain.
I've seen
Just
I've
like
seen
a
that
music
exact same video. It's
And that's how
sound
they do it.
bites. It's the sound bites that they get given at the start of each day by the powers that be.
That's right, aye.
You
Because
know.
they're reading a transcript. Or something
Yeah,
called-
teleprompter or something.
Teleprompter, that's one. Sorry, transcript. Is it not the same
But
thing?
you even look at
Excuse me.
government in this country as well. You got Theresa May. I
Oh,
really tried watching her the other day. There was an important thing to do with Brexit, so I put it on here, and I really sat down and I tried
Tried.
so hard to concentrate and see if she actually says anything,
Oh.
repeating the same lines
same.
over and over. It's
bullshit,
It's a wonder that the news doesn't report that hey, Prime Minister's lost her fucking mind. She's just repeating the same line. She's not answering questions.
Dementia. It's like dementia.
It's the whole strong and stable. I'm gonna provide the country with the Brexit deal it voted for, and it's these fucking sound bites that, just like you said, they get stuck in your head.
And it's the same fucking Prime Minister says the same shit every year. Empty promises, and people go, woo, vote for them, and then whatever changes. We're slowly getting poorer. The minimum wage is increasing, but is it influx? What the hell do you call it again? The increase of pricing and everything. You understand? I forget the word. Total mental block.
I think.
But you know what I'm saying? We're slowly getting poorer. Like the wages, like you think every year my wages go up, and that doesn't really, because the price of everything else goes up further.
Yeah.
We're one of the highest tax countries in the world. It's just preposterous, the tax we pay.
It was at the last election that Labour was saying, if you vote us in, we'll raise the minimum wage to £10 an hour. It's like, well, that's going to make the cost of living go up like a lot. Don't get me wrong, I would love to have £10 an hour, but that's also going to make my rent go up. It's going to make my bills go up. It's going to make everything else go up.
But doesn't it really go up? No. It's like, was it Tommy Sheridan? Remember that political campaigner, the Scottish guy?
Sheridan sounds familiar.
Tommy Sheridan. He was a bit. I don't know what he was before he was a political thing. I know he wasn't on the straight and narrow. I don't know if he was drugs, but I know he was no angel, basically. But then he started to get into the politics, but it was quite mad. He would protest all the time and chain himself to stuff and things like that. But he ended up getting to jail and things like that. He was saying, and this is I can't even remember when it was about, if it was in 90s or early 2000s. Like I say, I'm no big on all this politics, but I remember him saying, I'm going to make the minimum wage £14 an hour and all this stuff. Why isn't there political leaders coming out with things like this?
It's
because they're taught what to say. They are repeaters in themselves. They're reading a script that's been given to them.
They've got 5 ghostwriters behind them.
Of course,
writing the same thing.
And it's all analysed. You sure we can say this, cross-referenced. And I think it's just like you feed people shit long enough and tell them it's sugar, they'll fucking start to believe it, man. It's just people frustrate me sometimes at the end of the day. Like the naivety. It's just like, open your fucking mind up. Just fucking 1 minute, man, and just see the bigger picture.
Read something.
Read. That is the fundamental basis right there, because reading is important, man. I mean, I read every single day. I used to read used to sit up late at night and read hours and hours and hours on the end. But now, like, I'm a father now and things like that, so I hate people who also say, I can't find the time to read. You're just lazy, you didn't want to read.
There's always...
If you've got time to do a shit, take a book in with you. Do you know what I mean? You've got time.
I've got Rubik's Cube in my toilet. That's what I do when...
Well, for me, I love reading. I find people are just lazy when it comes to reading and researching. And even like me, I tend to try and cross-reference. Like you could tell me this is that. I'm not just going to take it and believe it. I'm going to say, all right, I'll take that information. I'll take it on board. I like the sound of that, but let me go research that. And I fucking cross-reference it and find it off 3 or more reliable sources.
Exactly.
I'm not saying I tend to find it believable. I find it more plausible type of thing. It's just for more the clarity for me.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
I had a chef who I work with come up to me the other day, and they said, I looked on your Instagram, and like you can see what pictures I like. And there was something that I liked that was Breitbart News, which is considered a far right in America.
Okay.
But it's because I follow Breitbart, I follow The Guardian, I follow fucking CNN, I follow the BBC. Because when a story breaks, it's hilarious seeing how it's reported by the different sides and who's leaving out what information. It's fascinating, and so that's why I had to explain it to them. Like, get your information from different sides, man, and then make your own mind up.
It's like, because if you just, I mean, it's like, how can I put it? It's like, to me, what was that quotation? A closed mind has only ever read one book. I love that.
That's fucking brilliant.
I love that. I can't forget who penned it.
And it's more relevant nowadays than with.
I don't know if it was personally directed at religion for or that, but I mean, I just
you could apply it.
It's amazing. I forget who it was. I'll try and find out for the next time. I should start taking notes and writing all these things in. But you know, things like that, sometimes you're like, oh well, I like that saying. Who cares who wrote it?
It's you can apply it to anything, especially news outlets where everyone's jumping to be first. You don't even have to be right. You just have to be first with the news.
Aye. Of course, aye. Oh, breaking news.
Yeah.
And then people, cause you're first, you're putting it out there first. Then people, tend to tune in.
And then people are taking that and then putting it in their articles, which is only half the story, and then they're taking half the story.
Man,
it becomes Chinese whispers where no one's got the true actual facts. So, like, for me, getting it from several sources on both sides.
And I think they tend to leave the facts out anyway. It's like a guessing game sometimes with tabloids and media, which is another reason why I didn't fucking watch them.
They're showing their own bias.
Aye, of course. It's like when the BBC covered all the Scottish independence and that, they fixed and rigged everything, and all the evidence and the proof was there. Whatever happened about that? It got brushed under the carpet, didn't even make a public apology. Nothing. Yeah. That's how. Not that I watch TV anyway, but I mean, anybody who does want Scottish independence, don't ever watch BBC.
No, definitely not.
Vermin.
Because they're more than anyone that are most certainly on the side of whoever's in power. So, like, if the Tories are in power,
like glory hound type.
Fucking A, glory hound is exactly right.
Let's ride on the winning horse's fucking cock, basically. But I mean, it's the BBC that are trying to get everybody to pay for TV licenses and all this nonsense.
Yep,
well.
I still get letters coming to my door saying you got a TV license.
license?
Like, no, I don't pay for my TV license.
No, me neither.
This
You're
is
under no
a confession. Like, you can use this against me. To
Sorry,
they could take me to court because I've just said I don't have a TV license.
I've
But
got news for you: you're under no obligation to pay for any TV licensing. I'm going to recommend you a book at the end of the show that you need to get. It's a must-have, and it's sort of do with like the legalese and legislations in the Magna Carta for the laws of this land.
I've seen the Magna Carta. It's in Salisbury where I lived.
I know. I went out to see it personally, but it was locked away. But I got a copy, a replica, and it's all in this book that I read. I keep it by me all the time. Freedom is more than just a 7-letter word by Veronica Chapman, and it's just absolutely amazing. It goes into contracts, tax, breaking down how in the Magna Carta it plainly tells you taxation is theft. I'm like, whoa! And when you start to read a bit deeper into it, council tax, all this, it's actually illegal. They're not allowed to do it, but people are just so mentally conditioned and geared and structured towards fables that they can't fucking see the truth. They can't see the forest for looking at the fucking trees, so to speak. So I tend to dig into more things like that nowadays. Something that's a bit more relevance to my human nature and my freedom as a man of this land, shall we say.
I think it's the pressure of it as well, with everyone, so many people paying TV license. You don't want to be the one that...
It's scaremongering as well, because they send these threatening letters, but he tells you how to deal with all this. Well, I say he's actually a guy, but he changed into a woman or something. I think it was for... It breaks down so much stuff about like how you're just your name and you're have you heard of the strawman theory and things like this?
I don't know.
Sort of with the freedom of the land and
I don't know what
sovereigns of the land, the freedom of the land and all this kind of a thing. How you didn't need to
like
abide by any
names.
laws. How legalese and laws and legislations they're all different, and it breaks it down. And it tells you, it even goes as far as how to represent yourself in court. Which I did when I had my custody of my children, and I was reading this book at the point. I thought, you know what, let me try. And I blew my children's mum, her lawyer, I completely blew her out the water, man. And even the judge actually says at one point, this is actually embarrassing for a lawyer, because she was fumbling and stuttering. But me, I recited everything in my mind before I went. I only acknowledged myself on what was surrounding my case and my children in custody. I didn't know everything, far from it, but it helped me, and I tell you what, and I won every time. I've been in and out of court like 5 times now, and I've won every single time on my own back. But that's a good book, man. I highly recommend it.
It's also I don't know whether like strawman theory sort of counts towards this, but sort of the whole identity politics thing that's happening nowadays, where like it's becoming super relevant that you're a white male Scottish human, where it's like, why am I English? Because I was born in England. Like, somebody just told me I was English, when it's like, no, I'm just fucking human, man. Like, we're all just human.
I know, we're all the same.
Yeah, someone said like, you're white. It's like, I'm not white, really. I'm pink, but I'm just a lighter shade than a black person. They're just a darker shade than me. Like,
I just see it as all as one, you know. I mean,
yeah.
As long as you respect me, I respect you.
That's exactly.
I don't discriminate. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's just, to me, it's just
It's
all
what-
this discrimination and labels and things like that.
Labels
I think that's
that-
for dumb people. I shouldn't say dumb. That's not very fair. Some people are quite
for close-minded
blind,
people.
close-minded.
Yeah,
That's one.
it's
and
so
not
that they can
blind.
pigeonhole you. You're a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, it's
you're
labels.
I had a fuck. I won't say his name because there's a possibility you might actually listen to this episode. But there's somebody who I work with, who just the other day walked past me in the kitchen, and they were like, "Oh, I can smell weed." And as they walked past me, they were like, "Oh no, I'm never fucking smoking weed. Like it's just going to ruin your life." And as he's walking away, I'm thinking to myself, right, you drink very heavily and you bet. Like he's in so much debt due to betting, but yet
Maybe he needs to smoke.
but yet smoking weed, yeah, fuck, yeah, it might actually
maybe
help.
stop him, Gum, make him a bit too lazy to go to the bookies.
Whereas in like it's the double standard of it.
I know.
Where like
I mean, alcohol's alcohol. I mean, let's be honest. It tastes very nice. Cheers.
but it's also
But as long as you take it in anything in moderation can be good for you. Innit? I mean, I didn't like to. I mean, I can't say. I can't comment on other people. I can only comment on me. But I've took drugs in the past.
Yeah.
Like, as a teenager and things like that.
Oh,
I
yeah,
experimented.
yeah.
And I mean, I was never an addict or anything like that. I had a fucking really good time with them. I
Yep.
still went to work and things like that. And but I just think it's the media that gives it bad press. But I mean, some people take it too far and they turn into alcoholics, junkies and things like that. I think anything in moderation isn't it that bad for you? I mean, fucking hell, you eat enough lettuce and it's going to cause you a problem. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
anything in moderation.
I
isn't too bad.
tried rationalizing this to the person who I was working with in the exact same way. I was like, too much of anything's bad for you. That's why it's too much.
Weed's never killed anybody, so alcohol's killed tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people a year. We're not getting into the statistics.
No. But
it's brainless,
in
really.
in my personal experience, when I lived in Salisbury, I was barely taking any drugs.
Right.
But in a 1 mile radius of where I lived, 17 pubs, and I was on 28 grand a year at 20 years old. Needless to say, I drank a lot. And it caused an awful lot of problems as well.
Of course,
and
mate.
it was
I've had problems with alcohol myself in the
Yeah.
past as a teenager. I used to drink excessively, and I was always pissed off and angry at the world. Before I started to dig into myself and realised that everything's inside and all this. And I mean, the police would always be at my mum and dad's door, and everything was always alcohol related. And then when my mum and dad found out that I smoked weed as a kid, they were like, "Well, you know what, Ian? We would rather you stayed at home and smoke." I was expecting my dad to whoop my ass. I ain't going to lie, I was shitting myself. But they were like so chilled out about it. And they says, "You know what, we'd much rather you stayed in here every night and smoked with your pals, because every time you go out there and drink and run the streets, cops at the door." So this is before mobiles, and so I'm like, "Oh, but there's fun to do." Guess what, lads? Guess what? And they're like, "No way." So
free bottles of Bucky.
Well, there was a lot of buckfast involved in them days. I ain't going to lie. But we were always indoors then, and we never caused any trouble after that. We just sat, used to watch a load of kung fu movies, smoke, drink, and just laugh. My dad would always be out every night anyway. And then my mum would sometimes come through and be like, "Bloody hell, it's like an opium den in here. The place would be right out." And I'm like, "You all right?" It was just such a nice time, man. And my mum would just come through, and she'd come through giggling and laughing, not even knowing what we're laughing at. She's just like, all I could hear in the next room was all this laughter. And she loved it. I think it made her feel a bit more homely than that as well. So weed, man, nothing wrong with it. Not that I'm promoting it, but I mean, harmless,
I'm
real.
much more for the legalization of weed than
Me too.
than just what they're doing with it at the minute. We were talking about reading a bit more to sort of gain new influences, new views on the world, maybe change. It's a bit too much intolerance in the world for the moment, I think, connected to not gender, but identity politics, whereas like
this nonsense
left and right and
is it transgenderism and
yeah,
all this? And
it's
it's a bit topical. I mean, I've got my own personal views, and that kind of give my views on that. I mean,
mine's I'm all for anybody doing what they want, so long as nobody's telling me what I need to say or how I need to act, because like you can have your own subjective views about who you are and how the world is. The second that you try and translate the subjective views into the objective truth that we should all follow, that's when it's encroaching on my territory.
Of course, that's when it creates problems as well.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about when for me, it's come more from the left. Like more people on the left have told me, "Oh, you can't say that," or "That's not a joke you can make." Whereas that's a far right idea, isn't it? Like telling people, "Hey, don't say that. Don't say that."
Nonsense again, isn't it? But to me, I find that's the thing with political correctness. It's went fucking insane.
Yeah, it's gone a bit too far now. Where
you know what's coming next, right? And I keep telling people this, and some people just laughed at me. And I said, "I'm being fucking serious. I ain't laughing. I'm being deadly." You know what's coming your way very soon? It's oxygen tax and thought tax. It's the only two things that earn the tax in this fucking country. And trust me, it'll fucking happen. That will happen. It will come. When they conjure up the idea of how to make it happen, they'll push it.
They'll roll it out, and
people will just accept it like the little sheeple that they are. Because people are just, I think there's too much acceptance. Maybe it's too much fluoride in the water. I don't know.
There's too much. It's exactly what you said. There's too much acceptance. There's some things that you should have to turn around, especially the government, and say, "This is childish. This is not moving forwards." There's
why rely on the government then? If we want to be individuals, why rely on a collective? You understand what I'm saying? It's kind of a defeating the purpose in my eyes. Because me, I'm just not for government at all. I just believe people should be left out. As long as you ain't hurting or killing, raping, all these negative things, as long as you're not doing anything negative in any sense, then so what? If you want to go to church, if you want to go to mosque, I mean, that's up to you. If you are gay, people are individuals. People are entitled to their individuality. But all this it's like they try to make us a collective. It's like they try to make us a one.
The pigeonholing.
They try to get the new world order in it, one world government, one world banking system, and all that. I think all these other things are mere like distractions to take you away from the truth, but it's all at the same time part of the big puzzle leading up to the finalisation. And it is, and they're pushing it really hard. I find in this country especially, probably America as well.
Yeah, America. There's
Mr. Trump.
There's a story. There's a story that I was reading about in Wales, and I was about to say in this country, but I suppose in this collective of countries. In Wales, there was a story of a man who lived 31 years of his life as a man, and then suddenly woke up one day and identified as a 6-year-old girl. Went to the Welsh government and said, "Can you acknowledge that I'm a 6-year-old girl because this is who I am and this is how I feel?" They've not turned around to him and said, "Okay, let's get you some help." Something's clearly a little bit askew.
A bit off here.
Yeah. They've said, yeah, let's talk about this, let's discuss this. And then in Germany last month, there was a bloke who was 79 years old, said, "Oh, I'm getting no hits on my internet dating. It's because I'm 79 years old." So he went to the German government. He said, look at me. I'm very fit. I'm very in shape. I could pass for a 59-year-old. You can change your gender, your name, your identity. Why can't you change your age? And they're entertaining the thought. They've given him the time. They're going, yeah, all right, let's discuss it. No, you're 79.
You're 79, you muppet.
Yeah, that's not...
That's not something that you can...
No.
You were born in this time. You have been alive this long.
That's not something that's subjective. You have been on the earth for 79 earth years. You are 79.
How do you wake up after... I don't know, maybe these people took too many drugs as they were younger or something, I don't know, maybe something's happened to them, but how do you just wake up all of a sudden and think, I want to be a 6-year-old girl? If you had like
you are a 6-year-old girl, not that you want to be, that you are a 6-year-old girl.
Sorry, that's a chemical imbalance.
That's
something going on
something,
there. That's maybe a mental... I wouldn't like to label it as mental illness and disrespect to anybody suffering for that.
But it is.
It's just not, it doesn't sound right, you know.
No,
I mean?
but
it's not normal behaviour.
Yeah, if we didn't have society, if we were still humans in caves with sticks and rocks, that's not evolution.
Some of them are.
That's not creating the apex predator. That's not. It's. I think we're paying too much attention to labels, which really annoys me because.
Of course,
people are starting to, as this is starting to gain traction, people are starting to label this where it's like, oh, you're fucking a chaotic left. It's like, not chaotic
But
left.
see, these labels, it makes it easier for everybody else to pass judgment
Yep.
and identify you. So even with music,
Yeah.
like, you've got a group of friends who are on hip hop heads, you've got moshers, metal heads, you've got skateboarders.
Yeah.
You notice everybody kind of tends to go with that. It's like a clique,
Yeah.
whatever, you know what I mean? And I think that's, for the powers that be, it's just easier to mould
It's easy
and
for them.
gear.
It's easy for them
Well,
to deal with it. Then.
These emo folk, they're into depression shit,
Yeah.
so we'll throw them more depression, we'll
Yeah.
push them out that way. These guys will push them.
Yep.
And I
Which
find that's
which is
what
never
happens.
going to get them on your side.
Of course.
It's like the key's debate. You're never going to debate. Like I would never want to debate somebody if they're turning around to me and saying, "Oh, well, you're fucking chaotic left." It's like, well, you've already decided what I am. Like, can I not convince you of my position?
It's a matter of perspective then,
Yeah.
isn't it? That's the
Yeah.
thing with a debate. I think a debate should always be open. Because otherwise you're never going to have a healthy debate. It's going to turn into an argument. It's like you can have your views on politics. Just say you're far left, I'm far right. We're never going to meet in the middle. Because we're too close-minded
Yeah.
to other facts. This is why I think it's relevant and important
Yeah.
and fundamental to always keep an open mind with anything. And you just find that life sails by so much easier. I think this is the thing. All these labels and that is just like, well, I'm gay, I didn't accept straight folk, or I'm straight, I didn't accept gays. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I'm not saying I agree with being gay and things like that. I mean, I'm entitled to my opinion. I didn't hate them, though. It's their opinion. If they want to do what they want to do, let them do it.
Yeah.
Keep your opinion to yourself. My opinion doesn't matter to me whether you're straight or gay. I mean, and I think another thing as well is people are so caught up on this imagery to what other people think about me. Fuck off, man.
Yeah.
Just be your fucking self.
That's the
Just
identity
learn
politics.
To let go.
Yeah.
Of course, man. Learn to let go. But the politicians, they didn't want that.
No.
You're becoming more free and you're less controlled and less structured. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you're people nowadays are certainly keeping, like, if you're vegan, that's who you are as a person.
You're a vegan.
Yeah, you're not, it's not
Oh,
that it's
am
not
I?
it's not that you're a human who doesn't eat certain things. It's that you are a fucking vegan. Like, and like that's why people like who are taking it so much to like who they are. Like, I am a vegan. Like, this is who I am. This is part of who I am. That when people who disagree with that, they suddenly go on the attack and they're not willing to debate, not willing to talk about it,
No.
because they're just so
Because they've made their mind up already.
they're
that's why.
so in their constructs.
So
and-
conditioned
yeah,
mentally, basically.
yeah,
Of course, right.
And
it's a shame.
and it's ease when you're surrounded by your people who aren't going to argue with you.
Do you know what I find as well, right? And I'm not being funny, and I'm not just saying this because I've smoked weed, but I find people who tend to have smoked weed tend to be a lot more open-minded and a lot more relaxed about things. And people who haven't smoked are so quick to judge, like that guy, he says.
Yep. I asked him as
But
well. I
maybe-
said, "Have
maybe
you ever
he
smoked
needs
it?"
to have a fucking smoke and open his mind up that way.
I asked him. I said,
It
"Have
ain't
you ever
gonna
smoked
kill
it?"
you. Do you know what I
He
mean?
said he's never smoked it and he never will. It's like, how can
How
you
can you pass judgment
how
then?
can you tell me I can't smoke it when you've never smoked it? That just it boggles my mind.
It's like
that
one of my friends went into rehab. I'm not going to mention any names. It's not very fair. I've not asked his permission of that. But he went to rehab for cocaine addiction.
yeah,
With the severe, he was spending about £1,000 a week on cocaine, so a heavy addiction. And he was telling me that if he went in there and he had some student type woman who never fucking doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, and never took a drug in her life, sitting there telling him how to fucking battle his addiction.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Have you ever fucking took cocaine before?" He's like, "No, I never have, and I never will." He says, "Well,
like-
how can you relate to me?"
yeah.
about
You
this?
you can't tell me
'Cause
how.
you've been taught academically what to say.
Yeah.
What the fuck is a book going
That's
to teach you? On
exactly
experience?
right.
It's just like, me personally, I can understand where he's coming from. Because I would be I'd be offended.
I would
I
would
think, what can
certainly.
you tell me?
I would
No.
take anything they say with a shovel of salt, because
Shovel of
if
shit,
you've not
mate.
had the same experience of me, if you have no concept of the same experience as what I'm currently going through, how you going to help me?
How can you relate?
yeah.
How can you relate?
Yeah, that's exactly
Do you know
right.
what I mean? Right. It's just I don't know, I like to say insane. Because I've been checking the etymology of the word insane. It actually means you're sane. I'd say more unsane, because the word in means you're in it, insane. So you're in perfect sanity.
Insane.
Unsane, aye. I've been digging into the etymology quite a lot lately. maybe a bit too much. My mate's like, "Oh, that'll drive you mad." I was like, "Yes."
Well, it's certainly better knowing unsane. That at least you can use it in the proper context when you use it in like a poem now.
Aye, of course.
Unsane. Plus, I think there was a film last year called Unsane or something, made by Richard Linklater. It's filmed on an iPhone. I think it won an Oscar actually.
What? They filmed the whole movie on an iPhone?
Yeah, which is insane that what you can do with iPhones nowadays.
Insane.
That's insane. Yeah.
See, it just makes you think, innit? Do you know what I mean? And another thing I read into as well when I was on the etymology and that, it's how the English language in particular, and words or spells, because everything's in vibration, as you know, right? So like we're speaking right now, we send out a sound wave, and your words can be like spells because you cast words.
Yeah.
It's like casting spells, and like how language can be a spell. And I thought, oh, that was really interesting. I've been reading. I've recently just touched up on it, and I thought it just blew my mind. I thought that makes sense, because like if you feel the air, you can't see it, but you can feel it.
Yeah,
right.
Air displacement.
Yeah, you can feel it. You know what's it. You can do that and feel it. So it's the same. Your words carry weight and volume. So be careful how you speak. And it all comes to the like negative speech and swearing, and it says it's curse words because it's a curse, like a bad spell. And I thought, whoa, that's really fascinating.
Yeah, never really thought of.
I know, you don't see sometimes. No. This is why it's important to read. And I've just recently touched on this, but it's absolutely amazing. In fact, I'll send you the link for the documentary. Yeah. You'll love it, man. It'll really open up your mind that wee bit. Maybe just like, wow, this is, because it just makes you think. This is why I love to read a multitude or magnitude of different subjects. When I was younger, I would focus on one book and read one book. Now you come into my house, there's books lying all over the place.
Yeah, you've got shelves of.
But excuse me, but in my brain, I know where it's at. I know where everything is. I just read with whatever I go with, whatever I feel.
Yeah.
I go with feeling rather than thought nowadays. So I go with whatever I feel.
I find that's a much better way to live than it's too many influences. Like I'm only on the one social media now.
Right. What
just
because
just Instagram.
Just Instagram.
Instagram, YouTube, I guess.
Facebook.
Facebook,
really social
Facebook,
media,
I've got, but I just use for the Messenger app.
Aye, well, me as well. Aye, but I'm always putting up like statuses and. My Facebook is more my venting ground.
Yeah.
My John Ogma poetry page on Instagram is more my real side. My Facebook's more my venting angry side.
Which I think is everybody's Facebook. That and their narcissism. Here's a picture of me with my boobs taking up 90% of the shot. It's a picture about my hair.
I know.
So
I find Instagram's like that as well, though.
Yeah, certainly.
And I think, I was thinking about something the other day. It's like there's too many men I mean, I like to speak for everybody. I can even speak for myself on this. It's like why is it called social media for a start? To me, it's unsocial media.
Yeah. If anything, it's actually made us more.
Facebook that would pass me in the street and not even say hiya. What's that all about? I just tend to delete people anyway.
Yeah.
Only like with my social media, it's real people that are real. Apart from my Instagram, because I've got something like 3,000 odd fans so far.
3,365 or something.
Something like that. So you know better than me, so it's steadily growing. Thankfully, thank you to all my fans.
Oh, that's.
And but I just find like I don't know, like that's my only social media where I have people that I didn't really know. Like my Facebook is all people that are really
it's people
keep it like that. I think it's just social media is made for nosy people, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who want to stay cooped up in a house and nose into everybody else's business and focus on yourself, man. Do you know what I mean? Don't care about what everybody else is doing. But I mean, it is good platforms for voicing and things like that. But then now, you've got a lot of limitations with Facebook now. You can't say certain words and they're banning you. I get banned on a regular basis. Usually when it's one of my angry rants.
Well, that's why I came off Twitter, because I had, in the first week that I was on Twitter, I had 3 different messages from Twitter saying, oh, this tweet has been removed because it breaches our guidelines. It's like, your guidelines. And then I read it and it's like, well, this is just interpreted wrong. Like you're not getting that this is a joke.
Aye, of course, right.
And
this is the thing. It's like social media doesn't have a fucking sense of humour.
Yeah.
As well as some people, for that
Yeah.
matter.
Too many people nowadays.
They're too. No, what it is, well, this we were talking about it earlier, the political thing. Oh, shit.
Political correctness. And
Political correctness. It's like people are too scared. It's like you can't say fucking anything nowadays.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, this crap. It's like, soon we're all going to be walking around in these wee fucking bubbles just waiting on them to pop. And if you even look at somebody wrong, the bubble will pop.
There's going to be designated safe spaces.
You can't swear there.
Yeah.
You can swear over there.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
We'll swear if we want.
I find it's more based on my experience. I can decide what I can say. Like this. I don't think there's any words you shouldn't be able to say.
Of course, it's
personally, because either like I'm a believer that either they're all okay or none of them are okay. Because to say, when some people go like, oh, you can't say fag.
Can I say fag? I was saying something about faggots one day, just an angry rant, wasn't it? In hatred towards gays or that.
Yeah.
To me, a gay and a faggot is completely two different things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And anyway, I was just ranting one day, as you do, and then they banned me for like 3 weeks or something like that. I didn't even try and argue the case. I just thought, you know what, just fuck you, Facebook. It's just a load of nonsense, really, innit? So now I just use it for putting up stuff and knowledgeable stuff and messages and quotations and things like that. And also I've got my John Ogma poetry linked with my Instagram.
Yeah, your Instagram. You
Facebook
can get your Chasing Sunsets book from your Instagram,
That's
which
right,
I did want to talk about.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I did want to talk about Chasing Sunsets. Anyway,
Yes,
sorry.
my very first poetry book,
Yeah,
Chasing
congratulations.
Suns.
It's on Amazon now. You
That's
can. The link is on your Instagram page.
It is, yes.
It's John Ogma.
John Ogma, yes. John is normal spelling, Ogma, O-G-M-A. And I got the name Ogma for the ancient Scottish Celtic god who was called Ogma. Ooh. And he was gifted with literature and speech and things like that. And he had like these mad eyes, and I've not read too much into him. I can't remember it really because I read that many different things, but I just thought, I like that. That's quite relevant.
Yeah.
So I'll just take that Ogma name. He was the god of poetry and speech and things. I thought that's quite relevant to me. Not that I'm saying I'm a god, but you know what I mean. The names and relevance kind of.
It's ingrained in your history
Scottish.
and culture.
Of course, right. So, but it's on my first book and self-published through Create a Space on Amazon. So it's available for paperback copy and Kindle.
Oh, okay.
The Kindle was actually a couple of pounds cheaper.
All right. Because I was going to get it from my mum's really got into her poetry kick this year, and she's got a Kindle, so maybe I'll get it on Kindle.
It's on like $2.99 or $1.99 on Kindle. I made it really cheap. To be honest, my first book was more my testing ground. Because, like so many years, I've wrote poetry since I was 16, I'm 37 now, so do the math in it. A long time. And I tried so many times over the years, oh my god, the amount of knockbacks that I've had. Like there was at one point where like every day for 3 months I was sending it on average of 30 letters a day. Right, to different publications groups all over the world. And you know what, I'll tell you something right now. 99% of them never even had the decency to get back to me, and it was so disheartening. It was so hard because poetry is one of my biggest passions, as well as music and film. And to me, it was just like, you know what? Am I really meant for this? Is this really what I've got to expect? And but then a couple of them did get back to me and goes, you know what? I absolutely love your work, amazing work, but we're no releasing blah blah blah. And then a couple of them got back to me and were demanding money up front, and I thought, no. Well, if should it not be the other way around? You give me in if it's so amazing. You give me in advance.
Yeah, surely.
And then,
if you're so convinced you're going to make money from this,
well, you should give me an upfront.
Yeah, a little slice of pie.
Of course, well, that's what I thought. But I'm not that stupid, fortunately. But then I started to read. I fell off it for years, trying to be published, and I never lost the passion for writing, thankfully. I was a bit disheartened for a while, I'm not going to lie. I was absolutely gutted for a while. Yeah. And I was like, almost spiralling into a world of bloody depression. I was just like, no, this can't be. But I thought, you know what, man, this is my passion, this is my desire. It's something I'm really focused on, so I'm never going to give up. And I'm glad I wasn't say it was easy, it was a bloody hard and a struggle. I wouldn't say I'm successful yet, but I know as long as I keep pursuing the way I'm going, everything's falling into all the pieces of the puzzle are falling into the right places, so to speak. And I'm gradual. But as I say, my first book was more for me to get the knowledge and the insight of how the system works and getting published and how to work the software and all that stuff. So, to be honest, my first book is a bit rough, it's a bit sketchy, there's mistakes in there and things like that, but I thought, you know what, leave it like that. I was going to discontinue it, but I thought, you know what, no, because it's all part of me learning.
Yeah.
I'm human, I'm going to make mistakes. I've made more than 1 million mistakes, but that means I've learned more than 1 million times, so I've never really made a mistake. So my energies is going to be focused more on my next and upcoming book called Ascension Energies by John Ogma. I'm taking my time with this one. It's not going to be as rushed. But I'm going to do everything myself again. Like on my Chasing Sunsets, I've done my cover myself.
Yeah.
I didn't even write a synopsis thing, really. I mean, you'll see
about the
it's
author
a bit
or
basic.
something.
But I was trying to get a hold of one of my friends from Scotland, a very close reigning friend of mine called Gary Gillespie, which I can't seem to get a hold of because he knows me better than anybody, and he's also a poet as well. And I wanted him to write the foreword for my book, a bit about me, because to write about yourself I find is a bit hard. Like, I could easily write about you, even though I've not known you for like 20 years or things like that, but I could easily write and identify things
foreword,
about you that you probably like, oh, I didn't realise this about myself, and vice versa. I'm pretty sure you could look at me and say, well, you've got this and you've got...
I could lay quite a nice foreword. So
So it's just, that's what I wanted someone else to write that. That's why I've not released my book yet. Because I want this one. Like I'm saying, my first one is rough. The next one and the ones for there on after is going to be absolutely impeccable. If I didn't mind saying so myself, there's going to be no flaws, and that's how I want it to be. I wouldn't like to think of myself as a perfectionist, but this next one has to be. Just because the rough one was the first one, was a bit rough. So this one, I want it to be pristine, impeccable, for the cover, and I'm writing everything completely from scratch. Like my Chasing Sunsets, my first book, is just a collection.
It's like a back catalogue from...
when I first started writing up until very recently. I'm sure I mentioned that in a quick wee thing on the back of the book.
I think it says from this year to
96 to present day. But this Ascension Energy is going to be 100% raw, fresh, new, and it's, well, the name itself, I'm sure you can imagine, it's going to be a lot more positive. It's about positivity. It's kind of like a look at it or think it as a self-help poetry book. It's all about the feel-good factor, because I've been through depression, I've been through dealing with alcohol and all that shit, and I've learned just what not to do with my life, and I've learned what works now. So I'm going to put it into book format, and hopefully it can help other people as well. Just make them feel good again. Because I think like the depression stuff and that is a serious thing. Like recently, Tyson Fury, he won. Oh, well, he drew. Sorry.
Should have won.
Should have won.
Oh my god.
But even he donated all his money. You know that?
Really?
8 million purse or something. Got he bloody donated it to people with depression and homeless and things like that.
I didn't know that. Good on him. That's fucking brilliant.
Absolutely amazing. Other people need to take a look at his book, because it's like mental health is a serious thing. My father actually died of mental health as well last year. He was 82.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. I mean, he was 82 years old, but I'm just saying the mental health, it's like a serious thing. So I thought, you know what, I'll do poetry, strictly poetry, but at the same time, Ascension Energy, about ascending your energies. And plus, I think as a species, we need to evolve, man. We need to evolve our energies, raise the vibration, so to speak, and become more open-minded.
Less focused on the materialistic.
Never mind, it's like Christmas time now, isn't it?
Yeah.
A load of shite. Consumerism, as it is to me.
Capitalism.
Aye.
All the isms.
Aye. Isms and schisms.
But it is.
But it is, though, I mean, I think that's why we get along so well, because we're like really so close-minded and open-minded, so to speak, on the same level as they say.
It's. I certainly enjoy the prism that artists such as poets, filmmakers, musicians, and comedians as well, where they can turn taboo subjects like gender politics or depression, mental health, and yet turn it and spin it in a way so that it's completely something new.
So it's not always completely negative then. It's about taking something negative, but then take some, at least, I always say, if you've got there's never 100% negative situation. Meaning, if something really negative happens in your life, try and take at least 10% positivity out of it at the end, and then that way it is never fully 100% negative. That's one of my main philosophies.
I'm a silver linings guy. So even was it like films like the Venom film? I don't know if you've seen yet.
Don't tell me I've not seen it yet, but I've heard.
It's very good, but then it's also been, the studio also had their hands in it and was like, no, put this in it, cut this out, because we want more screenings. So basically the studio's fucked it.
Isn't it?
Yeah, Sony. Yeah, Sony's making it.
What, Sony?
Yeah, so even though
Venom, is that not a Marvel character?
It is Marvel, but like they own the Stanley. That was a fucking big one. Yeah, that was.
But he had a good life, a good age, man. Be thankful rather than be depressed.
Yeah,
look what he left the world, man.
I've got.
You know what I mean? It's nice artwork there.
My Venom comics. I've got a
Sony
Spider-Man.
got their hands on that then? Was it a deal they done or something?
Yeah,
like that?
it was back in the 90s. Sony bought Spider-Man and all of his characters from Marvel, which is why they made the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films.
Right.
Like Sony made them.
Right.
And then like a couple of years later they made another one, which is like Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. It's kind of a reboot, it's kind of shit. And then Sony and Marvel got back together again. They were like, hey, if we let you put Spider-Man in your movie, can we have Iron Man for one of ours? So that's why the last Spider-Man film, Homecoming, had Tony Stark in it, even though it was a Sony movie.
Right.
I forgot where I was going with this.
Borrowing characters from each other now.
Yeah, and so even though the studios picked apart the film, Venom's my favourite character in all of Marvel. It's just brilliant. I love the duality of like the symbiote is wants to kill and eat people, but the man wants to. It's a bit more hopeful, so they become like an anti-hero together.
The duality of man.
Yeah,
and everything.
yeah. So even though that film was picked apart, I'm a silver linings guy. I can still pick apart. I love that scene. I love that segment there.
How did you feel with Tom Hardy? What do you feel about him? Do you like Tom Hardy?
Yeah,
I really like Tom Hardy.
I was rewatching.
So
Peaky Blinders recently? Do you watch Peaky Blinders?
I've never even seen one episode.
He's randomly just like a.
He pops up in it.
Yeah, it's like a BBC program, just like 6 episodes.
Is it about Birmingham as well?
4 series, yeah, but it's
Peaky Blinders, was it a gangs thing?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know too much about it, despite
I'm no big up on the Birmingham
despite living in Birmingham. It's
I know.
although what's cool about it is that because it's filmed in Digbeth and the Jewellery Quarter, you can walk down like Livery Street, Water Street, and you're like, hey, I was watching that scene last night where they filmed there.
That's good.
So that's pretty good about it.
Imagine how Americans feel, because in Hollywood especially.
Yeah, especially since
in
like
New York, I'm like, oh, this is weird. The shot.
everybody in Peaky Blinders as well. They all sound from Birmingham and Digbeth, so they're all about like Thomas Shelby, and we've got to take over the UK.
It's like that movie they shot in the city centre. I remember they locked off. Oh, was it? The Kingsman?
Yeah, Kingsman.
The second one.
Yeah.
I remember. Do you remember when they were filming in the city centre at night? Everything was all locked off. You couldn't go here, couldn't go there, and you could hear the gun. I was in my flat one night. I'm like, what the hell is that? That sounded like bloody.
It's happening.
Something's going on here. That sounded like bloody machine guns. Oh no! I just think it's some apocalyptic shit happening.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, what is going on here? And I look at the window and see perfect tranquility. I'm like, nah.
You know the next street over. We've got my little street that I'm on.
All right, here. Do you mean
the next street over? They've closed that off for like the past couple of weeks and for like another month to film another film called All Bays Suspended or something like that.
Right.
Never heard of the film. I had a look online and can't find anything about it. But
British movie then, I take it.
Yeah, I assume so. I fucking love British film though.
Aye. Do you know what I like? Film. I just love film.
Yeah.
You wanted to talk about film?
Yeah,
funny
I do
enough.
want to talk about it.
I love film.
Yeah.
What is if you had to pick only one, as you see, I find this hard. This is why I'll ask the question.
Just the
if
one.
If you only could pick one for your favourite, what could it be?
It's going to be Jaws.
Jaws. Oh,
yeah.
I just watched that the other night. For me, I'm always torn between Scarface and Apocalypse Now, but I was thinking about this morning. I thought if I had to put a finalisation on it, sorry, Scarface, but it has to be Apocalypse Now, man.
Yeah,
I
Apocalypse
love that
Now.
movie, the cinematography in
Yeah.
that movie. You know my favourite scene out of the whole movie? It's quite near the start, and it's like all the stuff's coming in, like the helicopters are coming in for a shore, and the boats and tanks are coming in, and the way the camera just pans across, and it's the change for the tranquility to the and the screaming in that one shot. I was just like, it blows my mind. I've watched that over fucking 100 times, and every time
still gets goosebumps.
I'm getting goosebumps right now thinking about it. My hairs are standing up. Look, that whole movie and the Redux. Is it Redux or Redo? I'm sure it's Redux.
I think it's Redux. I say Redux.
Redux. That version's got like 45 minutes extra footage, and I'm like, why the fuck did you leave the suit originally? Do you know? Have you seen the Redux version?
I haven't seen the Redux. Oh wait,
Apocalypse Now, the Redux.
Maybe actually, because they re-released it in a special steel tin.
Redux.
Yeah.
Mate, there's like 45 minutes of footage that they took out, and I'm just like, why the fuck did you take this out? Because it involves the French side of it and things like that, and it's just like, whoa, why the fuck? But I love it. Every time I watch it, I watch the Redux version. I never go to the other.
I saw Scarface when I was in Scotland.
Did you?
I had a chef called Douglas Clark. If you ever, I haven't seen you in 12 years, Douglas, but hi. He asked me, he was like, "You've never seen Scarface?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Imagine a 3-hour coke binge." I was like, 3-hour coke binge? I was like, right, okay. And I'm 16 at the time, so I'd never tried cocaine. I was like, okay. But then he also told me, he was like, "You never seen Braveheart?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Well, basically, Mel Gibson walks up to the English army and goes, "Blah! Blah!" like that. And I was like, all right. And then I watched it, I was like, this is about as...
Al Pacino, man, amazing.
Yeah, Scarface is...
Is it Brian?
Brian De Palma.
Brian De Palma. And apparently, did he not have like a fucking coke binge when he wrote it? He was in a Miami hotel,
locked himself in
for about 3 months or 8 months or something, and done coke all the time and wrote that movie and the whole.
You can see it. You can totally see it. I love the ebb and flow of it. Of Scarface. How
Scarface is genius, man. Like one of my mates, he's like, "No, Scarface is a load of shit." And he's watched the first half an hour. I says, "How the fuck can you watch the first half an hour of a genius movie and then condemn it like that?"
No.
Like, shame on you. Absolutely not. I'm one of these people. It's the same way. Like if I read a lot of philosophy, I wouldn't say a lot, but I like to read philosophy. But I tend to try and finish it, even if it gets a bit dragging or a bit too much. I tend to just reread, and try and finish it. It's the same with a movie for me. Even if it, like, do you know the horror channel on Sky?
Yeah.
So the cheesy beat. I fucking love that channel. That's one of my favourite channels because some of them are that shit. They're fucking amazing.
Some
they're
of them
funny.
cross over into total movie schlock.
But to think that some they put their heart and soul and dedicate their life. So I tend to always try and finish the movie no matter how shit it is. I hate these people. Like my mate is bad for it. He'll put on a movie. If something doesn't happen in 10 minutes, no, this is shit. Turn it off. I'm like, you know what? Just can't go away, man.
Yeah,
Leave me to watch this in peace. Come on, man. The person the producer, whoever who wrote it, they put their heart and soul into this. Aye, exactly. It's their vision. Respect that, man.
Yeah, there's
and that's how I couldn't. I could tell you who my favourite actor is. That's easy. But my favourite producer and
who's your favourite actor?
Johnny Depp, man.
Yeah,
I love Johnny Depp. I absolutely love Johnny.
I like that in every single one of his films he looks different. You get these actors that they're in. You're like Bruce Willis. He's got a look now, and it works for him. He hasn't looked any different in 20 years. He's basically played the same character as well. All spin-offs of John McClane. Because Johnny Depp, he's never the same person.
Never. I think the only movie I've probably not seen of Johnny Depp is it Chocolat.
Oh, I like Chocolat.
Have you seen it?
Yeah,
I've not
it's good. It's long.
Is it?
It's long, but in the same way that Scarface is long, but you don't notice.
Right, I know. Because Scarface is like 2 or 50 minutes.
Yeah.
But it feels like a normal movie because it engrosses you. And to me, that's always I find that way. That's why Apocalypse Now is my favourite movie. To me, that fucking transcends me to Vietnam. I was fucking there. I felt it and I experienced it. To me, a real movie moves you, innit? It moves your emotions, hence the name movie. Some movies, like I say, if I start to get bored and fall asleep, then I'll still watch it to the end, though, out of respect. I just think, that was fucking shit.
Has there been a film that you've turned off when watching the first time and then watched it again later and thought, this is great?
I've done that with a couple of movies. Let me think what one. Did I do that with? I think I maybe done that with Fight Club, did I?
Mhm.
Fight Club's in my top 5 of
Yeah.
favourite movies. Fucking
Very
hell,
good.
I
Chuck
love it.
Palahniuk.
I've got the book as well.
Yeah, very good writer. I think Davey's got the book.
He's a good writer. I'm sure was it Fight Club? I done it with one of my favourite movies. I'm sure it was Fight Club. But I tend to do that with music quite a lot as well. Like sometimes I'll brush it off, but I think that's just what kind of a mood you're in.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I'm in like a deep movie mood. Sometimes I'm in an action, explosive mood. And I think sometimes it's just you've tried to watch something that's not fitting your mood in it. And that's when you go back to it, you end up falling in love with it.
Yeah, I did it with a British independent film called Bunny and the Bull, which is written by the same people who wrote The Mighty Boosh. And the first time I watched it, I bought it on DVD, like from Amazon, and the first time I watched it, I put it in 20 minutes, maybe half an hour in, I was just like, I'm not feeling this at all. Revisited a few years later.
Loved it.
Yeah, absolutely.
yourself
Yeah,
with
it's like, there's all these scenes that are with like miniatures where like,
Snippets.
instead of, there's a scene where a guy gets drunk and tries to like get a bull, what are they called, when you hang the cloth in front of him, and
matador type
yeah,
thing,
tries to do that,
El
and
Matador.
instead of actually filming a bull, they constructed a bull out of like screws and stuff, and then like added like steam train sounds to it, so it just gave it a whole different feel. And I just wasn't into it the first time, and then rewatching it years later, I think it helped that I'd taken acid in the years that
to open your mind up a bit,
to open it a bit more, because I've certainly felt.
You were a bit too close-minded before.
Yeah, a bit too. I had pigeonholed acid or like any kind of hallucinogenic, mind-opening drugs
I'm
as
all
like
for them,
as like a I gotta fucking put that away, otherwise I'll fucking wind up homeless or something like.
Like
Probably
we're talking
the
about
way
weed
the
and
way
that
that
at the
I'd
beginning.
grow up. Yeah, I went to a Catholic school, so
Okay.
that was one of the most hilarious things. Is like my parents trying telling me like.
Oh dear.
Don't take drugs, or don't don't do this and
end up
don't do that, and it's like the Catholic Church, really,
Paedophilia.
really, like really, yes.
Bring your child here.
People say that like some of the stuff I write is too strong. I go too far. Don't you think the Catholic Church went a bit too far?
Well, maybe just a wee bit.
There's a great film about that as well called Spotlight, Academy Award-winning film as well.
Spotlight,
It's about the Boston Globe, and how they broke the story, because that's how it all came out, the Catholic Church.
Right, okay. Was it the Boston?
Spread around the world, and suddenly everyone else started coming up saying, yeah, we've been touched as well. And it all started in Boston. There's a really great film, Spotlight.
Spotlight. I've heard of. I've never. Is it newer, more recent, or is it older?
Yeah, last couple of years.
Right,
I didn't know too much about the subject matter before watching it, and then
Alright,
once you watch it, you're like,
Whoa.
this is
Busts it all open.
this is a big problem. Like, I think it's something like 90% of the clergy doesn't pay attention to the what's it called when you abstinence, when you swear off sex.
Oh.
So 90% of the clergy is still having sex
Aye.
and keeping it hidden.
And I've also read recently, sorry to interrupt you, about some mega high up priest in the Vatican. I didn't know about religion, to be honest, but he's saying how it should be acceptable for them to fucking fondle kids, basically. Long story short, and I'm just like, what? You're meant to be a religious figure for us. Like, why are you coming out with things like that? Because all your followers are going to start thinking the same.
And that's why,
It's not normal,
that's part of one of the reason why I can't, you get people in the street, like we live in Birmingham city centre, both of us, so we try and go anywhere. You're going to get people giving you leaflets for, come and join Christianity, come and join Islam. But I got handed one for Christianity the other day, and I handed it back and said, you can't even decide amongst yourselves who's the right one.
How many different sects?
Yeah, there's a million fucking different Christianity groups, and each of you think you're the right one, so
You're the right one.
I just don't, it's a label I don't want.
What? See, to me, I mean, I'm not a fan of religion at all. I've no problem with anybody who is. It's their belief, their faith, their points of view, their life, innit? But me, personally, I just find it's just another social structure to control the masses.
Because then you go to church and it's all, God loves you, God will take care of you.
These pastors are all right.
Here's a bucket, put money in it.
I know. Do you know what? Talking about the best person on the face of this planet to break down religion is George Carlin.
Yeah.
Have you seen how he breaks down?
Yeah.
We don't want to talk about a bullshit story. Holy shit.
No.
that is it 5 minutes or something. He breaks it down. That is absolute fucking genius to me. How he breaks it. I love
George Carlin.
Love George Carlin.
He's somebody who I think
can
nowadays,
just relate to him and, he's made popular now because people. Remember, he was very. When he first came about, he would have been they would have
controversial,
very controversial,
very religious America. Frank Zappa,
very controversial, fucking genius, man. I love Frank Zappa.
He loves Frank Zappa. Yes,
Frank Zappa. He's got amazing quotes and things like that as well. Like when you draw back the curtains and the furniture, and it's the same wee man at the end of the screen controlling all the shit.
Yeah.
Oh, he's fucking amazing. I love Frank Zappa. Oh, I fucking love Frank Zappa so much.
There's certain people who like Hunter S. Thompson as well, where as soon as you start talking about him, it's like,
tell me what the fucking goals was, man.
I fucking love Hunter S. Thompson. I recently rewatched Fear and Loathing.
Oh, please.
But I was watching it whilst eating a warm cheesy pasta, and I had to put the pasta away. I was like, this is not a film you can watch warm cheesy pasta to. The sound design of it is it's designed to expand the senses.
It does. Because see, the very first time I watched Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, I mean, didn't get me wrong, before the first time I had watched it, I'd experimented in LSD and magic mushrooms on many occasions, so I could really, really relate.
Yeah.
And some other drugs along in there. So to me, it was just like, oh, fucking hell, this is amazing. Who is this guy? He just blew me away. I thought he wasn't really this fucking far out, was he? But when you read into him, you see
Hunter S. Thompson, yeah. Once you start, well, that's what I love about.
He did not give a fuck.
Nope.
What anybody thought, like we were talking about earlier, and he tried to run for mayor at one point, or something like that as well.
It was, I think it was like mayor
it was
of
made like a joke thing.
Boulder or something in Colorado.
Because he had Johnny Depp actually paid for his funeral, didn't he?
Yeah.
Shot his ashes out of a cannon. That's what he wanted.
Fucking brilliant. At the giant two-thumbed fist.
The two-thumb fist. One of my mates has a tattoo.
I've got a badge ever since finding out who Hunter S. Thompson is and the way he lived and the way he thought about things and the way that he wrote.
Proper hippie. His writing was phenomenal.
Has influenced me so much that I've got a Fear and Loathing button on my bag, like the two-thumbed fist.
Double thumb fist.
I've got Fear and Loathing sat over there, and the Rum Diary sat over there.
You got the Rum Diary? The book or the movie?
I've got the book, but I have seen the movie as well.
You've seen the movie as well. Did you like it?
I did like the movie. Yeah, I felt because I watched it knowing it was a book written by Hunter S. Thompson, and then Johnny Depp got it made. I was like, oh, this is going to be like Fear and Loathing. A little bit like it, like when there's some kind of drug. Yeah, there's some kind of drug that they drink or something.
No, it's the pure alcohol he's making.
Yeah, that one.
The wee mad alky guy, the journalist, I forget his name, and he's never in. He just doesn't appear anywhere. He's just a mad fucked up alky. He just comes into the paper every now and again. I want my paycheck, and argues with the boss and that. He makes the. Oh, is it like moonshine type?
Yeah,
I
think it's
something. He makes it pure, like absolute pure. He says it's something like 1,000%.
Yeah, it makes me laugh as well when they're in the car and the steering wheel.
The car and that. He's sitting on the top
bouncing, and the police.
I'll tell you what, talking about Hunter S. Thompson, have you seen Where the Buffalo Roam?
Yeah. I fucking love Where the Buffalo Roam as well.
Did you watch that first or Fear and Loathing first?
I saw Fear and Loathing first.
Me as well. And one of my friends who introduced me to Buffalo Roam and says, right, I'm going to agree this is, but didn't think of Fear and Loathing, just take it for what it is, and that's what I've done.
Yeah.
Either way, that's what I would do anyway, but I fucking love it.
Bill Murray does
he
does a very good.
Johnny Depp's my favourite, maybe because I've seen Johnny Depp first and he's my favourite actor. I'm being a bit no disrespect to Bill Murray. He portrayed him fucking amazing, and it's fucking amazing as well.
Where the Buffalo Roam is
amazing. Have you seen all the Hunter S. Thompson's documentaries?
Yeah, I've seen. I think I've got on DVD. Buy the ticket, take the rides.
I've got that.
And another one, Gonzo Journals or something like that.
As well.
So I've got pretty much every bit.
One,
he's just too, and if anything, like I really wish he was around nowadays because Hunter S. Thompson would have.
He was way ahead of his time.
How much he hated Nixon.
I know.
How much fun would he have? Yeah, how much fun would he have with Donald Trump?
Oh fucking hell!
Oh my God!
He was a character, wasn't he?
He'd tear him apart.
He was absolute. Hey, he was a fucking, to me, in my eyes, he was an eccentric fucking genius. Hunter S. Thompson is no other word except genius.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody else thinks, how you want to portray him. The man was and is just, his literacy, people just didn't write like that anymore.
No.
That's why Johnny Depp fell in love with him as well. I think it's in one of the documentaries. He reads it one thing and he goes, "Oh, people didn't even Johnny Depp's like, oh, you can see it touch them."
You
He's
see
like,
it just gets
who
you.
writes like this? Do you know
That's
what I
why I
mean?
love Fear and Loathing, because the first line like opens with like we're on a straight run from Baker, Barstow, and Purdue.
We're on our way to Barstow. Drugs are going to take hold, and then it starts.
Yeah,
saying
and then it's like straight in, and the same with
Tobey
the
Maguire
movie as well.
appears in that at the start as well, didn't he?
Brilliant.
God
Like,
damn, I never wrote a convertible before. Sorry, wait. I guess you're about ready then. Oh, and another Benicio del Toro. Come on,
Benicio del Toro
Benicio
as
del
Dr.
Toro to
Gonzo.
play that well against Johnny Depp.
Brilliant.
In that movie.
Yeah.
He's another one of my top favourite actors as well.
I love that.
Just for them,
It's the
you
fact,
just imagine them two doing that in
it's
real
the fact
life.
that, like,
Innit?
when you watch Fear and Loathing, and kind of in the same way of Scarface as well, where like the protagonist of the movie are so, like, if you're a normal person, 9 to 5, liberal, pay your
Ain't gonna get that
taxes,
movie at all.
you know, red wine and cooking shows on the weekend, you're gonna hate these protagonists.
Oh, you're gonna hate them. You're gonna hate it all.
But I love it. It's just so creative. The whole thing about it.
I love it. I love the movie, and I love Hunter S. Thompson. He's just absolutely amazing. I've got like 7 or 9 of his books. I've not read any of them yet. I just started collecting them. We've seen my library, and it's starting to just grow in my library basically. But I love Hunter S. Thompson. But like, if he was alive today, oh, he'd have a field day. I think people like that were just way ahead of their time. Same with Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
I'm another huge Jim Morrison fan. And
despite paying £50 a month for BT Infinity, I do not get infinite internet, which is really annoying.
No, I shut them off. BT, I went with Sky.
I think my parents are with Sky because now they get TiVo or something.
The thing is, they're not much fucking better, man. All these companies are out to shaft you. They tell you it's 20 meg broadband, or then they say, no, it's up to. You know why they say
up to.
Aye, because every time I check it, it's running on like 5 or 6.
Yeah, I get about 6.
Aye. What the fuck? You're meant to get an average of 15, 16 if you're paying for 20. That's understandable, right?
Yeah.
That's doable. But fucking hell, man, if it's running on, we know what you do, phone and complain.
Oh, I already have. With the app, you click on view my bill, and it comes up with £25, which is what the bill should be for the month. You click on pay my bill, £47.90. Like,
What?
hang on, wait, where have we just got £19 from?
What's that? Oh,
Like, it's also, if I miss a bill and they cut me off, they charge me £17.50 to turn it back on. That's fucking ridiculous. So
is that in your contract, though? Your original contract?
yeah. So I think I'm moving out of here in February. Me and Davey are going to get another place. Yeah, I've already said to him, like, I'm going to tell everybody I know to go to your competitors to not use BT because fuck you.
Fuck you, BT.
Yeah, fuck you, BT. Despite the fact
I had them before as well.
Despite the fact I'm using your internet right now, fuck you, BT.
Good. I hope we can make money off your internet right now.
I do have to mention
No pay.
our sponsor for today's episode, which is Mercurax.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for sponsoring this episode. Do you suffer from tiredness, unknown fatigue? Do you ever feel like your brain has given up on life? Well, fear not, because Mercurax is here for purchase now from your local pharmacy. Mercurax has been scientifically designed by Globalist Pharmaceuticals. That sounds incredibly suspect.
I know,
to help you get the best from your brain. Mercurax is engineered to shut down all non-essential systems in the real cerebral cortex, gifting you with a surplus of 12% increase in activity and energy. Side effects may include arrhythmia, faintness, moderate to severe amnesia, a thirst for sand, visual distortions, itchiness, twitchiness, and dry mouth. Thank you, Mercurax, for sponsoring today's episode.
Is this a new drug, is it?
Yeah, available to buy now. Shuts down all non-essential systems in the rear cerebral cortex.
What does that control in the brain again?
I have absolutely no idea.
Oh, the frontal lobes and things like that, or memory or something.
But all it gives you is a 12% increase. I shouldn't say all, because it's sponsored the Thank you, Mercurax. But that's a long list of side effects.
I know, but I think that's why most drugs do, isn't it?
It's
just to deal with like tiredness and just. It sounds like that fucking pill. What is it? What's that movie where he takes the pill and becomes a
Limitless.
I love that.
I can't remember the name of the drug.
To me,
but
that was like LSD. Come on,
yeah,
man. That was really about LSD.
It's certainly
wasn't it?
there's certainly
Am I the only
films
person
that
thinks that.
there's films or like TV shows with something where they will like take an idea of something and then turn it into something else for the idea of a film.
Because they can't say it's
because you can't say that it like
on, it was
what was it?
LSD, wasn't it?
There was a film with Christian Bale where everyone took a drug that got rid of all emotions?
Oh,
Equilibrium.
Equilibrium. I love that
Fucking
movie. He's a
classic.
sense offender.
Fuck it. Yeah, sense offender.
Brilliant. Oh shit. Sorry.
Absolutely
A
brilliant. Fight
portrayal.
scenes.
Oh,
What's the gun?
kata.
The gun kata. Fucking gun karate
But
and
no,
shit.
you remember when the cops go to live? Oh, he's a sense offender. And you know what? I remember they put a lot of truth in movies and how they're gearing towards that, what we were talking about earlier. And that's an amazing portrayal of the future. Another one that I love that's an amazing, probably one of the best ever for portrayals of the future, fucking Demolition Man.
Demolition Man.
Microchip in the hand and everything. The self-driving cars, all that shit that was in that movie, and even fucking Star Trek.
Yeah.
They were
I
doing
think
shit.
Blade Runner. Blade Runner's a fair interpretation of where we're going as a species,
That's even
I think.
further,
yeah,
of course.
Because the first Harrison Ford Blade Runner was set in 2019, so that's next year. We're not quite there yet.
I know.
But
it's like, remember in
head
the
in there.
40s and 50s when first kind of were making bigger movies and that, when there wasn't big highways and all that, then everything was a lot more limited and we weren't as technologically advanced. In the movies back then, they were portraying them like in 20 years it's going to be like this, but it's real only coming about more like now.
Yeah.
So I find they're always a bit behind with the time. Or we're just not evolving quick enough, or maybe we're evolving too quick. Who knows? That could be
I just think we're evolving in the wrong way. We're putting too much emphasis on material goods and how we're portrayed in society. How we're portrayed in society, how society sees us. We're like, I think we need to concentrate on ourselves a bit more.
Was it Socrates or Plato that says "Know thyself"?
Know thyself.
I
fucking
love that. I love that. I live by that.
It was I think Robert Burns said, "Man's inhumanity to man causes thousands to mourn."
That's so true. He was a Freemason as well, wasn't he?
And that's as relevant now as
Robbie Burns.
Robbie Burns. Burns Night. Do you celebrate Burns Night?
I didn't celebrate it, but no, I didn't really celebrate it. I mean, I know I love my poetry and my poet and that, but I love Robbie Burns, but I've never delved deep into him. I've been more. I love classical poetry, the literature like William Blake.
Yeah.
I love William Blake. He's probably one of my favourite poets. But Robbie Burns, I mean, I've read a ton of his stuff, but I've never really delved deep into him. I like more all classic poetry and that. I love all sorts of different stuff, even things like I was reading Carlos Castaneda the other day. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
No, what about William Ginsberg? I was reading
William Ginsberg, I've heard
Jack
of.
Kerouac, you've heard
Yeah,
Jack
Kerouac, yeah. My mum's got a...
They were... The
books.
Ginsberg and Kerouac were more like the beatniks, weren't they? The beat generation poets. I love all the older stuff, even like some of the Lord Alfred Tennyson and things like that.
Tennyson, yeah. We got taught Tennyson at school.
At school, because you're English, we would taught about that. What century was it again? I know Blake was 17th century. I love William Blake.
I don't remember that.
Do you know William Blake?
Yeah, I know William Blake.
He's probably my favourite, or one of my favourite poets, to be fair. And also I love this Chinese dude called Li Po. Fucking hell, man! I've got a book of his called The Selected Poems of Li Po. I've read it like fucking 8 times, and his work is so simple. It's no deep. It's no thought provoking. It's just he's got an eye for capturing the simplicity and beauty in life, and he encapsulates it in everything he fucking writes. And I love that because I love nature. I've got a massive appreciation for nature. Well, coming from a country like Scotland, you couldn't know of.
Yeah. Where I lived in Motherwell, we were right next to a national park, and she used to go there all the time.
Did you ever go up the Campsies?
No. We went to Glasgow on a weekend. We went to Edinburgh for a couple of weekends. I love Edinburgh. Edinburgh's beautiful.
I prefer Edinburgh over Glasgow. I don't know why. I just I don't know.
When I was in Glasgow, I was in a bar. Underage, I do apologise.
That's all right.
16, I was ordering a pint of Carling or something at the bar, and it was just at that moment that all the music in the pub cut out, and my very young, high English voice was like, "Hi, can I have a pint of Carling, please?" And like stopped, and like everyone like turned like a creak of a chair as everyone turned.
Like in the old westerns when they walk into the pub station, everything stops.
The music stops and everyone.
Hello, yes, I'm English. Hello. But what else were we talking about there? Sorry, I went off topic.
No, that's all right. It's that's what's so good about.
I was talking about the poetry and things like that again.
But that's what I love about Hunter S. Thompson. To go back to that as well, is that he'll take something normal, like a politician speaking to people, and he'll, because of who he is and his experience, will push it through that prism. And so what you read on the other side is much more creative, or much more explanatory of what's really happening. He sees what's really happening.
Well, that'll be all the LSD that he took, because is it Huxley that says, or was it William Blake? It was either Aldous Huxley or William Blake that says, when the doors of perception are cleansed, things will appear to man as they truly are, infinite. I can't remember if it was Huxley or if it was Blake. It's one of the two, but it's so true. And he was talking about LSD, and that's where the Doors got the Doors, the Jim Morrison, the band. That's where they got the name for their band.
So
the Doors of Perception.
That's
the LSD and taking in the clarity. And I think with Hunter S. Thompson and anybody else who's took LSD, I've took it loads of times.
I've taken it.
I think for me, before I took LSD, it felt like I was walking around blindfolded. And then when I woke up the next day, it's like the veil had been lifted, and I started to see things for what they truly were. I started to comprehend the infinite, and I started to see through the bullshit a lot more as well. Like, I've had this very same mentality since 13 years old. I took my first LSD when I was 13 years old.
Oh wow!
Quite young, but you know what? I'm fucking glad I did, man. Like, I was kind of like, all my mates saw the shit that they're going on about now. I was going on about that long ago. I wouldn't like to say I'm ahead or above anybody, but I'm just like, all news to me.
It's deciding what's important to you.
And I think with Hunter S. Thompson, he took that much LSD and expanded his mind so much. He just seen through everything, and he would just tell you how it is. And I find that's what I like about good comedians.
Yeah.
They're good at portraying their picture and bringing you into the story, but bringing out the truth at the same time, and making you fucking laugh.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And that's what George Carlin did.
Oh, aye. And Frankie Boyle
expertly
as well.
Frankie Boyle as
I
well.
love Frankie.
I saw Frankie Boyle live when I was in Scotland. I sneaked in because it was 18. You had to be 18. And I saw him in Glasgow, and which I thought, and I was aware of Frankie Boyle and who he was. Big fan. I've got his book over there, My Shit Life So Far.
Oh, right,
It's a fucking great book. And I was expecting Frankie Boyle show in Glasgow. This is going to be the best show of his tour, surely. But you know, when like he interacts with the crowd, the people in the front row just were not. He was like, "Hey, so what you do, big man?" And the guy was like, "Oh, I'm a dentist." He's like, "Right, what do you do?" He's like, "Oh, I take care of parks or something." Like all the people in the audience were shit that he was asking for.
It just wasn't one of their nights. Because he does the same thing, doesn't he? He tells you, you tell him what you do for a living, and makes a joke about it and rips a piss at you and moves on. I like that though, how it interacts with it. I've noticed since he started to do it, a couple of more comedians have started to do it as well.
Yeah.
Especially the front row, they draw them in and bring them into the show. But it tends to be a more fashionable.
Yeah, everyone.
Fashionable is the right word, but you know what I mean.
It's it's fashionable for comedians, and storytelling comedy is in at the moment. Fucking Billy Connolly. Oh my! I'm so glad you just mentioned Billy Connolly. Billy Connolly was another one that my dad, when I was very, very young. So there's certain things that like the government is like, don't show your kids violent games or like this kind of movie. Don't watch Tarantino movies because they're bad for your brain.
I know. You can own a fucking house, have sex, have kids, everything at 16.
Yeah.
You can't watch a movie at 15.
My dad was showing me like The Fast Show, The Young Ones, Bottom, Hale and Pace, Tiz Was as well.
Billy Connolly though. Oh,
Billy Connolly as well.
He doesn't keep very well nowadays.
No,
I just read the other day that he wants to come back to Scotland to spend his last days and die because he knows he's on his way out. He's not been keeping well for a couple of years.
He's up there, isn't he?
He's fucking hell. What is his 70s now?
I know he. I can't remember what. I know Dustin Hoffman gave him the Special Recognition Award at the TV Awards a couple of years ago, and it was good to see him up there. But his hair is all bright white now.
He's like, is it Parkinson's? Something like that. Because a guy I know, for Stirling, he met him. He was in Glasgow and he met him, and he says he was kind of and this was it last year or the year before? And he says the big yin, as we call him, Billy Connolly. He says the big yin was looking. He says he felt more fucking sorry for him. He says he was really frail, like an old man. As you do when you get
Well, he's a
older.
national hero.
Fuck it, of course, love Billy Connolly. There's nobody in Scotland could ever say a bad word about him. But he says, like, there wasn't a big crowd, but there was maybe like 10, 15 folk there.
Yeah.
And they're all like, kind of, oh, come on. And he was like, oh, he was trying to keep up the brave face.
Yeah.
But you could see he was saying, oh, and he did say at one point, oh, come on, Eric, I think we've had enough now. It's just fucking all too much from it. It's a shame.
He's had his time in the limelight now.
He's just leave the man to be in peace. Do you know what I mean? He's not got long to go.
I love his film, The Man Who Sued God.
Oh, bro, I was thinking about that the other day. Brilliant. The Man Who Sued God.
My dad's another one that my dad showed me when I was very young. And I went to Catholic school and grew up. My family's Irish and stuff. So like
family Irish.
Yeah, like my mum's side's Irish, my dad's side's Polish. So like.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a bit of Polski in you.
Great uncle was the mayor of Warsaw when the Nazis invaded.
Oh, right.
They chopped his head off with a sword and then displayed the sword in a big display. Because
take it back. Claim your rights.
My dad took my granddad there a few years ago before he died because he hasn't been back since he fled. He came to England during the war, met my nan, moved up to Doncaster and lived there ever since. But my dad took him back to Krakow and Warsaw, and he got to see his old house that he hasn't seen since he was like 30, and then he died a couple of years ago, and we were getting all this stuff. Like my granddad had this chest in his attic of all this old war stuff, and there's a knife that he made. He used to be a scout for the Polish army, so he got sent into like Belgium and stuff to try and find where the Nazis were camped. So he crafted this knife from something, whatever he could find on the street, and a sheath. And I was holding it, and it's like
good craftsmanship.
It's good craftsmanship. He was like a lobbyist as well. He turned the garage into a workshop. But this knife, like just holding it, felt like a powerful talisman. Like I was talking to my nan, and I was like, "So this is." I was like, "So this says," and she, before I could finish, she goes, "Yeah, been inside Nazis." So I was like,
well, they say that with the spear of is it the spear of destiny?
That's
one that pierced Jesus.
Yeah.
Hitler sent people looking for that, didn't they? Something like that.
I had somebody on Instagram. I put something up about religion. I had somebody on Instagram saying like, "Oh, you should, they still print Bibles. You should read it." And I was like, I replied back saying, "Oh, do they print the one that was found in Iraq, written on yak skin, like thousands of years ago? Because I know that's not your version."
It's like I've got 2 Bibles at home for research purposes. I'm not a big fan of the Bible or that. But I've got a King James version and this New Age version, and they say 2 completely different fucking things. I'm sorry to anybody else who's Catholic or Christian or anything like that out there, but I mean, come on, man, just open your mind just a wee bit. And see
it just seems a bit too.
There's nothing wrong with the Bible. There's a lot of brilliant stuff in there. The Proverbs I used to read quite a lot. I used to go to Bible studies as a kid, believe it or not, and I used to go every Wednesday to Bible class and things like that. Thankfully, I didn't anymore.
I can see why people would. It gives answers to some questions.
I think it's more a comfort thing, religion.
Yeah,
isn't it? It's like for people for their faith. It's a comfort thing. I'm going somewhere nice. You better fucking hope so.
Yeah, but the second that they try and turn around to me and say,
push it down your throat.
Like you can't love this person because God doesn't want you to. It's like, for God's all about love, isn't he?
Of course, right. Like George Carlin goes, if you didn't fall. He's got these 10 rules that you must abide by. If not, you go to hellfire and brimstone for eternal damnation. But he loves you. He loves you, and he can't grasp money. He's all-knowing, all-powerful, but money just can't grasp money. Yeah. Oh, I love George Carlin.
There's a great Carlin piece about was it the 7 words you can't say or something? Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucking motherfucker, tits, fuck, and twat or something like that. And it's like this long, like half an hour monologue about political correctness and
amazing,
and that's like back then how it was going crazy, and it's as relevant now as it is back then.
I find like life goes like in peaks and troughs. I always like to say, because everything's on a vibrational scale. Peaks and troughs, like a sound wave or that. It's like sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. And I find they always say history repeats itself, and it's like that's the cycles of life, up and down, like what was fucking irrelevant now then is becoming more relevant now, and vice versa. And I think it'll always kind of be that way. It's true what George Carlin says, didn't try and change shit, because nothing ain't going to fucking change. Just be happy with what the fuck you got. It's acceptance, basically, what he's saying there. But then I always say, fuck acceptance, let's rebel.
I certainly rebel against. Was it when they raise benefits for people that, so like they can't afford to live in the same house as their kids?
I know.
There's shit like that. It's like, why are we doing this? Like this isn't the way forwards.
I know,
Yeah,
we're lucky in this country. I know we moan about it and that, but we are
in the grand scale of the world, Britain's doing doing all right. Yeah.
Because like I went to Egypt for my 31st birthday to go and see the pyramids and things like that. I went to Cairo for 11 days.
That must have been insane.
It was amazing, but at the same time, it was fucking soul destroying to think that there's people actually living in, like, you see it on the TV and you think, poverty, But when
you see it firsthand.
It wasn't nice, to be honest. I'll never fucking forget it. I will never ever. And there was kids coming up to going, like wanting money for food and that, and you could see the face of it. I was just, it was horrible, man. It's a fucking shame. And but you know what though? What I took for that was, I'm such a fucking idiot. I thought to myself, here's me moaning about my flat with my nice big TV and all that. These people literally have nothing. Yeah. So it made me more grateful.
Yeah,
for
bit
the small
more humble.
things that I do and humble. So I'm really glad that I went to experience something like that. I mean, travelling is amazing. I've been to Amsterdam as well.
Yeah.
Obviously.
We're going to love Amsterdam.
Oh, yes! I tell you what, mate, if I never had kids, I would never have come back. I just would have stayed in Amsterdam. That would have been me, just done. No coming back.
I can see if I suddenly make a big bag of money, everyone I know and I like and has helped get me to that point is going to get a nice fucking cash sandwich.
Me as well, if I ever made it big with my writing, I would never ever forget.
I've always said that if I make $1 million and then that's it. You can live on the interest of $1 million.
Of course.
And then that's it. You don't need more than that. So anything after that, I'll quite happily, I'll say it now, quite happily just give it away because I don't want for more.
Need it. Nah, no. I think for me, my ultimate dream would be for my writing to make. I don't know if I'd really want to be famous. I mean, if it happened, it would bring me more money. Yeah. But really, it's more today for me the freedom. I would use that money. They say you can't buy freedom, and that's bullshit. If you've got fucking £1 million in the bank and you're a man sitting in jail, you tell me you can't fucking buy your fucking freedom.
Doors will open.
Exactly. A man sitting in jail, he's no freedom. Whether he's got $1 million or not, he can't buy his freedom. No, I'm out, I'm relatively free.
Yeah.
If I had that money, I would just use it to live freely. Just have no construct, just move, travel. I'm sorry, but you wouldn't fucking see much of me. It would be. I would just be all over the world.
Yeah,
my aim is to have a beer in every single country in the world. Just one beer. And certain countries maybe get a bit more wasted than others and experiment the fruits of life.
What's the best country you've had a beer in? Belgium, I think, is.
For you, right?
I went to Bruges.
You've been to Bruges?
Bruges, it's beautiful.
I feel Belgian beer is
Belgian beer is.
And that Leffe or whatever it is, that's Belgian, isn't it? I love that.
That's
Leffe blonde.
Yeah, it's good. It's good when you have it here. You know, like with Guinness, you can have it out of a can, and it does the job.
You go to Dublin if
you go to Dublin, you have a Guinness, and it's
amazing.
It's incredible.
Totally
yeah.
But I think the best. I see. To be honest, I've not travelled that much yet, but so far out of the places I have travelled, I mean, Egypt in its own sense. I've seen the pyramids. That was a childhood dream. I went to Giza. Went to Saqqara Desert, went inside the first step pyramid and all that. Ooh, but Amsterdam, fucking hell, it's just the people, the Dutch people are so nice, man.
Yeah.
They're so hospitable with I was on mushrooms there, right? And I've never took mushrooms during the day. To me, tripping is always like a nighttime thing for the neons and the dark, and it's more tranquil at night. There's not many people running around. You can wander around in your wee universe or whatever. But I find like Amsterdam, like I took mushrooms during the day and I started to have a bit of a bummer of a trip, a bit of a bad trip. Yeah. I was like, getting a bit panicky. It was like too much. Because it was like, you imagine Saturday afternoon in Amsterdam Square.
It's going to be...
And every fucking single voice. Remember, you're hearing...
Your sensory is overload.
So I was just hearing a million voices in my head. I was like, whoa, this is getting too much. So I started to get a bit panicky, and I just turned into my mate. I was like, I need to go. He's like, what? I just need to go. I went back to the hotel room. His girlfriend was there. I was just thinking, his girlfriend, my mate, he lives in Australia now, and his girlfriend was Australian. She was there, but she stayed in the hotel. And I remember her saying, she had these fucking chemist drugs with her. So I've got all these yellow Valium. I thought, I just need to get back and take some of these Valium.
Yeah.
And I went in the room and I was fucking out my tits, and she's like, phoning fucking my mate, saying, oh my god, Ian's total wasted. Sorry, John's total wasted and all this. And then I was like, just give me some fucking Valium. I'm freaking out here. How many do you want? Just give me like 7. And I took these 7 yellow Valium and I laid down in the bed. And I remember thinking, oh fuck me, I'm sitting in this fucking bed. And I went, oh no, I feel calm again. What's the Valium? So I sat back up. I didn't even say nothing. I just wandered out the room and I just started exploring Amsterdam on this Valium mellow
wave.
Oh,
yeah.
Mate. Oh, fucking hell. Amazing. I've tried to phone my mate, tripping in that. He wasn't answering his phone. He's in his own dimension. I'm in mine. So I just started going round these pubs, and the Dutch people, like I say, respect to Dutch people, man. Nothing but respect.
They're doing it right.
And you know what? Even the cops there are so laid
Yeah.
back. There was this guy on a
they're
bike.
so aware of what they're just like, we've got another one. Like,
because
we're
there's no
just,
crime there.
Yeah.
There's no crime.
Which is
Everybody's
quite
too
surprising considering the brothels, the drugs,
I know, you'd think
the
dodgy.
culture. Yeah.
The red light district, did you walk around it in that?
No, I never went to the red light district.
I did. I walked it. It's, to me, the feeling I fucking loved it. I thought it was fucking hilarious. The characters, the people.
Yeah.
It felt a bit seedy. You know what I mean? But I just at the same time, you have to fucking love it, man. It's just like, for me, it was like being in. Excuse me. For me, it was like being in a completely different world, man.
Yeah.
It's just like, wow, you live like this.
I felt like that going to Liverpool.
Oh, did you?
Fucking it's a different world, man. These people, you
I've
can't
never been
understand them.
Liverpool yet.
Can't understand them. I went for
Alright.
went to my 25th to like the Cavern Club for the Beatles, and my girlfriend at the time bought me tickets to Dirty Dancing live.
Oh, right.
It's my little guilty pleasure, Dirty Dancing.
Oh, right.
It's just
I like some of the music.
it's just a
in it.
feel-good film, you know.
Of course,
Everyone's got their little guilty pleasure. I grew up in a house with 2 women, like my
It's
sister.
expected, bro.
So we've all got those.
My cousins, my female cousins, like when we were younger, every time you go in the living room, that's all they would watch. It's
Yeah, like
fuck,
Dirty Dancing or Ghost or something.
Ghost and Dirty. But
Yeah.
Paddy Swayze, yeah. Roadhouse, what a movie.
Roadhouse,
Do you like
yeah, fucking A,
I don't
Roadhouse.
care if someone comes up and calls you a cocksucker to your face. I want you to be nice. Love it, man.
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
So we come to the last section of the show, which is called You Don't Say.
You don't
So
say, okay.
quick fire questions. You answer as honestly as you want.
Oh, okay. Let's go then. I'm ready.
Question number 1. Do you believe in the afterlife?
Most definitely. Want me to tell you why?
Yeah.
Can I elaborate? I've got a famous, well, I wouldn't say famous, I've got a quotation that I penned myself that kind of tends to sum up things like that for me, and it is, let me see if I can remember, this is terrible, my own work. I am but a conscious, infinite mind, forever travelling in a vessel through the stars. I was never born and I will never die. I am merely climbing a cosmic ladder of reward. That pretty much sums
Beautiful,
it up for me.
man. Yeah,
Thank you.
that absolutely sums it up. Yeah, we're all just on this.
Infinite plane, this ride, just go with the flow, man, enjoy it. So I believe in reincarnation, afterlife. I mean, the first time I took magic mushrooms, I had this vision, or spiritual experience, whatever you want to call it, but it was fucking far out, man. And it was just something come to me, it's like a voice, a loud, echoey, deep voice, like, this is your 49th time alive, and it started getting flashes in my other lives, and I was just like, oh, I started to fucking freak out.
Yeah, I
was
wouldn't
under my
imagine
cover.
what.
Oh, it was mad. It was powerful, but so I do strongly believe in that, to be honest, yes.
Do you tip when eating out?
Sometimes.
Depending is it a service?
A service thing. If the waiter or waitress is really rude, I think, fuck, am I giving you my money, man? Nah, man.
Yeah.
But then I tend, if I get a good service, it makes me want to go back, and I'll definitely tip, yes.
Favourite cocktail? Or favourite drink, should we say? Because a lot of people have said they're not into cocktails for this one.
I'm Scottish, so you know I drink most things. Favourite drink? Oh, being Scottish, I should say whiskey, but I love brandy. My father got me into brandy. My father was a brandy drinker, so got to keep it up, man. I love my whiskies as well, though.
Scotch whiskey, I feel is It's just a step above anything.
I tried Jameson recently, and I've tried it a couple of times. I've tried to get the chance, and I've fucking been ill the next day. It just does not agree with me. But when I drink Scottish whiskies, I don't get that. I don't know if it's the maturing process or what. There's different filtering. I don't know, but I guess just the Jameson just doesn't agree with me.
It's the Irish.
We'll blame the Irish. Nah, I love the Irish.
Who never fails to make you laugh?
Oh, Frankie Boyle.
Frankie Boyle.
Oh, you mean like a famous person or any person?
Yeah, could be anybody.
Definitely Frankie Boyle. If ever I feel a bit down in the dumps, I tend to put him on, and I love Frankie. I just love his brutal, harsh truth.
Yeah.
I love it. He doesn't sugarcoat shit. He just tells you how the fuck it is, and that tends to be Scottish people all over. I love that. But Frankie Boyle, I would say.
What's a current trend that you hate?
These fucking jeggings, leggings things that men wear. What the fuck? And it's cutting off the circular. What is going on with that, man? Come on, man. Please, just stop wearing these things, man. It's just... Nobody likes it.
It's not good.
Maybe it's not cool, man. It's just, come on, man.
When are you happiest?
Happiest. Probably when I'm getting fucked up. When I'm drinking out. Nah, if I'm being honest, I like to be honest. I mean, I love reading. I'll tell you fat well there and nothing. Gaining knowledge, I would say. Gaining knowledge, getting fucked up, listening to music. Then all three at once, fuck me, it's orgasmic state. Gaining knowledge while getting fucked
Whilst
up
getting
while listening
fucked
to
up
music.
while listening to
There
music.
we go.
You can do all three at once.
Of course.
It is doable. You just need
living
the right. You just need the right music. Who's your childhood hero?
Oh, childhood hero. Has to be my father, doesn't it? Of course, man. Also Jim Morrison, secondly. My dad first name Jim Morrison.
Who's your dream collaborator? Assume would be...
Somebody to cut with music or writing.
Can be anything.
Because remember, I produce music as well. Oh, well, with the music side, I would love to collaborate with probably Dr. Dre, somebody like that.
Yeah.
Lyrically, literature. Oh, it'd have to be Blake, man. Obviously, he's not around. Or Nietzsche. Fuck me, I love Nietzsche.
You could have Live or Dead.
Alright, cool. Oh no, I'm torn.
now it's all humans.
Oh, that's hard. I'd have to. Can I say two folk? Blake or Nietzsche?
That's two very good choices. Who's taught you the most?
Life. I wouldn't say a person. I would say life for that one. To be honest, I wouldn't say a person because I've been pretty much independent most of my life. I read all my own stuff. I try not to follow trends. I just go with the flow or feeling. I'd say life, man. Life is the greatest teacher. Definitely.
That's good. What's your worst habit?
I don't know. Worst habit. Wanking.
Yeah, no, I suffer with that as well.
I wouldn't say I suffer for it. I enjoy it.
Yeah,
But it is a bad habit. I mean, come on. Nah, I'm always picking my nose. I think. Like I've noticed when I'm driving, I'm always picking at my nose. Probably a bad habit.
Who's your childhood celebrity crush?
Oh, childhood celebrity crush. Oh, was Sandra Bullock in Demolition Man. The fucking skin tight.
Prime Bullock.
Oh, when she was back then. Now I look at her and I think, what, I really was into that? Alright, cool. But I remember I had a picture on my wall and I was forever being good to myself, shall we say. As a child, I was like 13. Whenever Demolition Man was it was that whole Demolition Man thing. I've done it for me, the black leather jacket.
Taco Bell.
Oh, Sandra, we still love you.
What's one thing people don't know about you?
That I'm a genius.
One. This has been one trying to think of one that the public don't know about you.
I have quite a high IQ. Probably a lot of people don't know because I swear a lot I come across as common and people take judgmental as face value nowadays. And I have threw a lot of people off with my intelligence because I know the day I've spoke a bit more intelligent, I've only swearing and that doesn't mean nothing, but people see that as a lack of intelligence and I think, well, may they fool you for passing judgment. I mean, I've shocked folk because I come across as really common sometimes. So I'd say, I don't know. That's a hard one.
It's hard. It's hard thinking what like. It's more easier thinking of the stuff you don't want people to know.
No, I mean, I'm quite
for me.
man. I don't care what people think, innit? They're only entitled to their opinion. At the end of the day, you love me or you hate me. That's your choice. I'm trying to think what somebody really doesn't know about me. I don't know, man. That is a really good question, but it's really hard at the same time. I suppose maybe that I've got a kind of a more tough exterior, but inside I'm merely a gentle, loving soul.
Well, you have a book on poetry,
Poem,
so that's...
Of course, that's the real me.
Yeah.
I'd say that's the real me.
Lights on or lights off?
Regarding what?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I like to see what I'm doing, man.
Yeah, I'm a lights on
I
kind of
lights
guy.
on.
So.
I'm confident in my physique and my abilities. I say lights on, man. Definitely lights on.
Lights on, yeah. Everybody should have lights on. But just be happy with what you got, man. And where can people buy your book, Chasing Sunsets?
They can buy it on Amazon.com or .co.uk. If you just look up John Ogma, OGMA for Ogma. John's quite self-explanatory, really. And Chasing Sunsets is on Amazon. I think it's Amazon paperback and Amazon Kindle. Only them two at the moment.
Yep.
Like I say, my next book, Ascension Energies, I'm going to try and expand on that. But for now, Chasing Sunsets, John Ogma on Amazon.
Have you enjoyed coming here today?
I very much so enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Well, I've been glad to have you, sir.
Glad to have you as well.
Thank you very much. I'd like to
to
thank
see
my
you
guest,
again
John Ogma. I'll see you guys soon. You can buy his book, Chasing Sunsets, on Amazon now. See you soon.